Welcome back, guys. This is Dr. Morse with the Fantasy Doctors. I am currently in the process of ramping up for week one. Super excited about that. I am a big DFS guy, and I want to kind of share who I think would be a good play for week one. I have a tendency to play more on Draftkings than Fanduel, so this will be kind of oriented to that. I will break it down into each section. I'll have one podcast video for QBs, another one for wide receivers, running backs, tight ends, and defenses. So kind of 5 quick ones that you can review, check out, replay if you missed anything, see who you like in the lineup, write your comments at will at the bottom, and kind of let me know how you did after the fact. So here goes, week one. Let's see. So for quarterbacks, I like this is probably for the main slate also, because with the Thursday with the double Monday night game, I'm just gonna do predominantly the main slate on Sunday. So you got Brady versus Houston at 7,200. He tore up the Titans defense last year. He's basically got Gronk, Hogan, Burkhead, and White. So while people will be concerned that he doesn't have any weapons, I mean, those are 4 valid weapons, and then not even including Michelle, who I don't think will play this week, and then you get Dorsett and a couple other guys. But I think they'll do quite well. I think he'll drop anywhere from 3 to 4 touchdowns, and probably 300 to 400 yards passing. That's a very solid game for the home opener for the Patriots. Number 2 I have is Cam Newton. He's playing home for Dallas versus Dallas at 6,900. A lot of dump offs to CMC. He's got Olsen back. He's got Funchess. He's got DJ Moore. I expect him to have a pretty solid day, and you always got to worry about the dual threat guys. That will get a ton of points as well. Drew Brees is probably my personal favorite for week one, or one of my, I'd say he's in my top 2. He's at 6,800. I mean, he's got Kamara dumping off. He's got Thomas, his favorite blanket wide receiver. He's got Cam Meredith. We'll see how he plays out. Ginn is, always someone you have to stay worried about. Tre'Quan Smith could be sneaky, and he's got Boston Scott if he decides to play in Gillislee. So plenty of options there. Brees plays much better at home. He's super reliable, and I think they will throw a ton in light of just having Kamara and not Ingram as well. Cousins is a great matchup with Fran at 6,500. He's got tons of new toys with Cook, Diggs, Thielen, Rudolph. Even Latavius Murray's in the backfield when they need him. So plenty of options. I think he would definitely. He's got a couple leagues where I'm going to start him in season long. But as far as DFS, he might find my way into a couple rosters, depending. Probably more of a GPP play than a cash play, but we'll see. For Phillip Rivers, I think he has a solid matchup versus Kansas City. He's at 6,400. He's got Gordon. You got Gates back. You got Allen, who's going to be peppered with targets. You've got Tyree and Mike Williams. Both could be potentially very helpful for him. So I think Rivers is going to have a very solid day. Him and his crazy throwing motion, but I think he'll be solid. I believe he's at home. Andy Dalton is kind of a sneaky underrated play at Indianapolis at 5,800. I think he's going to torch that poor Indy D. And he's got A.J. Green. He's got Ross, who can have big play ability. He's got Eifert, and he's got Mixon, running the ball quite well too. So I think he could be a cheap kind of alternative if you're looking for big upside or great stack with either a Green, Mixon, or a Ross, or even Eifert for that matter. You could do a kind of a crazy stack there, and then put in a couple high-end one wide receiver and one running back high-end, and you'll be ready to rock and roll. I think it's a sneaky GPP there. And then Tyrod could be a potential a sneaky kind of sleeper pick. He's at 5,400, so a couple hundred cheaper than Andy Dalton. I expect him to pepper kind of Landry with a bunch of targets. He's got the other Johnson, Duke Johnson. He's got Josh Gordon, who isn't expected to start, but I think he will still play. He's got Njoku, who could be a beast this year. He's got Hyde. I think he's got a lot more weapons than he had in Buffalo, and I think he could potentially cause a little chaos with his legs. So he probably easily get your 5,400 worth and hopefully double or triple that. So those who I potentially recommend on starting, who am I fading? So Big Ben on the road, especially without Bell. I know he's got AB. I know he's got Juju. He's potentially got McDonald, the tight end. If Bell's not in, maybe Connor, we don't know yet. So my suspicion is I don't want to touch him on the road. Brown's defense even maybe could be a sneaky kind of punt play. Russell Wilson, who I love this year, even though he doesn't have much weapons, at least right now, is facing a very tough Denver D, and I won't touch him this week. I don't trust Luck yet. I don't think he's ready yet. So I don't think he's ready for deep passes. I don't know what to make of him, so I'm going to give him a couple weeks to marinate and see how he plays. So I'm not touching him this week. Mahomes is facing a tough Chargers defense. He may get a couple cannons off to Hill, but I'm not touching him right now. And then Jimmy G, who I like this year. I don't know if he's going to continue his streak of undefeated games, but he faces a tough Minnesota defense, and that's obviously very challenging for his first matchup of 18. So do me a favor, please hit subscribe and turn the bell on if you're watching this on YouTube. If you're listening to this on one of my podcasts, then subscribe, and I'll try to do these as much often as I can. Leave a comment below, or send me one on Twitter at Dr. Jesse Morse, or check out my website, www.drjessemorse.com. And feel free to also check out my other podcast, The Fantasy Doctors. And you can check out the Fantasy Doctors website and a fantastic new thing called Fantasy Dose, which is a crazy analytics, and it discusses injuries, it takes players into perspective from their past injuries, where they are in the depth chart, weather, all types of stuff. So check that out, and then we'll see you next week. Good luck.